Hey guys, it's Pause. I've had quite a few people reach out to me and have asked me to show them how I do my shading. So I've put this video together and another one to show you the two different ways that I shade. So in this one, I'll be diving into how I soft shade, while the other one is cell shading. I'm going to show this shading technique on this sweet fluffy cat, which is going to be a card in the Neonmob set that I'm currently working on. And let me sidetrack real quick here. If you haven't heard of Neonmob, you should absolutely try it, and it's free. If you like collecting art, trading those special cards you've pulled, and want to help support artists like me, this site is definitely for you. And if you're an artist, get in there and make yourself a series. It's tons of fun, and it's so rewarding seeing all the people collecting and enjoying your art. Not to mention, you can get royalties on the packs you sell. So if you want to try it out, click my link in the description or scan the code right here and we'll both get extra carrots. We would love to have you. Alright, so there are 3 main brushes that I use when shading. I'm going to put them up on the screen. I use Sai to shade, but Photoshop, anything that can replicate these brushes would work. So before you start, the first thing you're going to want to do is pick where your light source is going to be. So let's mark it here. Let's say that our light source is going to be up here. Alright, so then the next thing you're going to want to do is make another layer. Set it to multiply. Pick whichever color would fit your background the best. Like if you're doing like a sunset, you might want to pick like an orange or a purple, but for this one we're just going to do blue. So use the bucket tool, fill that, clip it to your layer, and only set the transparency down just a little bit, just so you can see your lines. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the watercolor brush that I've got here, and we're going to set it to the erase mode, and then we're just going to start blocking out where the light is going to be from our source. So top of the head here, we're just going to do this really fast. This is a really fast method of shading. Probably come down around the face, the bridge of the nose, the cheeks, and maybe the front of the chin there. Blur it out. I don't want my eyes to be shaded because I've already got shading in them, so I'm going to erase that, take that out. Top of the neck here. Blend that down. And then the front of the chest would show some light. And where there's a lot of hair there and it's thin, that's going to show a lot of light through it. So just blend that out real good. A little bit on the shoulder. Some on the ear tip. Down the back. This isn't going to have a lot of light on it. Maybe just a little bit down to there. Not much. Then maybe just some light on the hip there. And some on the front facing part of the back leg here. Blend it out. Then it's going to show some on the tail, on this side, upper side. And on the very tail tip. Maybe come down. Blend that out. Okay. So now that we have our general layout of shading, we're going to go back in and refine it a little more. So we're going to blur some of this out. Probably wouldn't go under the eye there. Probably more on the front of the face. A little more on the cheek. Blend that together. Some more on the ear. Up on the head there. And probably up on the rim of this ear just a little bit. Blend it out. Alright, so there's not much more to really refine too much. At least not the smaller sections. Alright, so I'm gonna grab my blur tool here and just blend a lot of this. There's a lot of rough edges that the watercolor tool has made. I'm not gonna blend that so much because I like that hard edge there. Definitely gonna blend this out a lot. I want that to be soft. Maybe blend the edges of this. Smooth out those rough edges on this. Right through here. Definitely on the face. There's a lot of roughness on the face. Blend those together. But not so much that it completely takes away the definition. Okay. Usually I use this brush at 100 density, but for shading, depending on how intense your light is, 16 to 30 is good, but we're gonna do around 20. I'm gonna go in here. We're just gonna erase the highlights. Maybe some through here. Some on the front there. Not only is this brush good for defining the outer edges, but it's also the go-to for shading fur. Just follow the fur. Make some strokes here. Then grab your blur brush. Blur it out a little bit. So let's do the ear here. So this fur would be brighter than the rest here. So it's on the outer edge. Maybe this right here. And definitely this fur. And then let's highlight the outer rim of the ear here. This is great for details. We can even do the inside fur here. And don't worry, it doesn't have to look perfect. The way that this brush is, the roughness just makes it pretty. Fade that out into the back of the ear. Look how nice that looks already. Alright. So let's do the cheek fur. This is usually a really great place to highlight if you don't really know where to highlight next. So let's just add some strokes here. And you can also layer it, which is great. That's why I have the density down, so you can layer it. Put some more fur in there. Maybe some on the back here too, just a little bit to highlight that. Also, the closer that your fur gets to the darker areas, you can space out the fur strokes more. Blur that in. Blur that just a little bit too. Maybe this side of the cheek there. That was a little too out of the line. There we go. Blur that in. Let's do the chest fur. won't blur these. We'll keep them hard shades. There we go. Maybe we could even add some definition through here. Back a little bit. Let's see what else we got. We can outline this some with some fur. The leg fur here. Blur this out. Anywhere that you want the fur to kind of blend into the rest of the shading, just blur brush. Blur brush every time. Alright, in the last place looks like it's the tail. So we can add some really nice big fur strokes in here. Get the brush flowing with the alright, and we can blur this. A little bit down there. You don't have to blur your fur out, but you can if you want to. I just like the way, the soft way it looks. So now that we have our basic shades done on this cat, we're going to take a light color, preferably the light source color, and we're going to make another layer, set it to luminosity, set it down to maybe 60, and then clip it, and then grab an airbrush. Bring the density to about 50%, make it big, and then we're just going to highlight the outer areas here. Maybe just add a little bit on the cheek, have it come down across the forehead, have it light up the chest area there, maybe just a little on the shoulder, bunch on the tail. And maybe a little bit right through here. Alright, so grab our blur tool again and just blur that out. Especially right here on the back. Blur it down into the neck. Okay. Alright, so then lower that again just a little bit and then make another layer with the same color and set it to luminosity again. And this is where we're going to have our really defined shading. So if you don't want to do this and you like the way this looks, keep it. But if you want to add a little bit of extra, this is what you can do. So we're going to take the same color and we are going to outline where the light would be hitting on the cat. And at this point we'll also add the little details, little shading details here. Just a little bit. Then we'll add, actually we're going to turn the density up a little higher because I want this to really stand out against the rest of it. And then we'll gonna highlight in just tiny little strokes here. Maybe the front of that ear, a little bit of that, and maybe the inside of that fur on the ear, the rim of the ear again, and where you've already done most of the shading, it's easy to tell where a lot of these areas will be because you've already done all the work. Now you're just highlighting it. Through here, maybe just the tops of his fur. And as the shading gets less intense, you can start doing less pressure or smaller strokes or even just small little hot highlights on here. Highlight the back a little bit. Definitely this chest fur. Make them a little smaller as we get to the bottom there. And the outer edges of the big tail. And there we go. But this is the basics of the soft shading. Block it in, refine it, add the highlights, and then add the details. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching me shade. I will also be posting a cell shading tutorial up here in the next few days, so keep a lookout for that. And if you haven't checked out Neonmob, you should totally go do that. I would love to see you there. See you guys. Before you start, the first thing you're going to want to do, sounds so hick. Usually I use this brush. I can't. I hate my voice. Okay.